Welcome to the Daily Chess, guys. Mm, Today we are going to look at the concept called undermining. Uh, what does it mean? Simply exchanging pawns to weaken opponent's structure. Okay. Undermining may could be used in middle games as well. I'll have to take a look. But undermining is one of the key concepts if you're starting off playing chess in general. I'll say everyone can calculate the easy king pawn in games, but understanding this concept is, I think, fairly important. So just like every day, let's start breaking the position into different stages. So let's look at the ideas. Let's look at what white can do. All right, three pawns. One is a protected passed pawn. This pawn still cannot go up because the king is just close enough, and this pawn cannot be protected ahead. Yeah, pushing these two pawns will never generate the uh, past one. All right. What about white king? Can he move ahead? Uh, Simply no. Let's look at why. So this particular pawn structure paralyzes the white king. Why? You cannot capture this, otherwise you are out of this square, and this pawn will always queen. Now what about going this way, right? So let's see if white can move that way. So um, 2 3 4, at least four moves are required for white king to go capture this pawn and then go for this one. All right. What's next? Let's see black king's idea. Since this king is frozen, basically he cannot capture, so as long as black king can maintain a safe distance, he can roam around, I believe. And one of the key ideas is like, you white king does require four moves to go and capture, but I doubt he still can. So let's just assume we do nothing and just go through this. Okay, now this comes in and these two squares are out of reach, so that's why white king cannot just go and capture any of them. Now he moves back, this pawn will come up. So now white king is essentially frozen completely. Alright, so in this position we know white king is frozen up and black king is free to roam. This is a essential thing to understand, which king is free to roam around. That is a very key factor in these endgames that we have seen in previous episodes as well. Alright, so black king's, I think white will just keep on shuffling, that's all he can do, and we start moving ahead. So first of all we reached king d6, and what else, king e3, that's all white can do. So how about this, still shuffling. The idea is to march around, then start exchanging. So captures. Now you don't want to go like this because you always want to keep an eye on ideas that this pawn can also queen. You have seen the idea of pushing the pawn as a threat and try to reach the opposite pawn. Since this pawn is fairly close, you don't want to give this pawn some strength by uh, letting him march ahead, of course. So um, we did the a6, captures, and again king e2. That's all white can do right now. We go back, king e7, sorry, king b7, king e3, king c7, just shuffling around again. Now here I think we are prepared for b5, king e3, and I think we can go with b5 now. Yeah, if captures, then captures is good enough. cbn king takes c5, and this king still is frozen up. This pawn will never go up the board. When if he goes, there's no point. And essentially we exchange these two pawns for the three pawns. We exchange these two pawns for these three pawns, and this pawn became weak and we captured it. Now black king is free to roam and support one of the pawns and let the pawn queen. That covers it. Now this concept of exchanging these two pawns for these three pawns is well illustrated in this example because white king was frozen. He could not move around or do anything. There will be, I think, positions in middle game as well where sacrificing a pawn is very good, where you undermine the base of the pawn chain and you capture the pawn in front to create threats. That's a very again say vague explanation, but yeah, we'll see if I can come up with some of examples. This concept again will have to utilize to get an idea. All right, I think that's all for today. The concept of undermining.